25 years of marriage. Then I found out my wife cheated with her best friend's husband and lied about our daughter's father. About a year and a half ago, my ex-wife, I'm 35, she's 36, walked out on me. She left me for some guy who, believe it or not, was married to her best friend from high school. Yeah, some friend she turned out to be, right? My ex and I were married for 25 years, and I honestly thought we had 2 kids together. But just recently, I got hit with the devastating news that my 6-year-old daughter isn't actually mine. Biologically, she's his. The worst part? My ex knew from the start of her pregnancy that the kid wasn't meant to be, but she hid it from me all these years. My name's on the birth certificate, and I've raised that little girl like she's my own, so I fully plan on fighting for custody. She may not share my blood, but she's my daughter in every way that matters. Clearly, this affair wasn't some short-term fling. It's been going on for a long time. Finding out the truth felt like a punch straight to the gut. When I confronted my ex and asked her if she wanted to be with me or him, she flat out told me it was him. Why? Because, and I quote, "You can get it back up right after sex and go again." Seriously, that was her only reason. She completely ignored the fact that I worked 2 jobs to put her through school, and after she finished, I kept busting my back working so she could stay home, take care of the kids, and, apparently, cheat on me behind my back. I even gave up my dreams and a potential music career so she could chase hers and have the family she wanted. My family has always been the most important thing in my life. Now, to be real with you, my ex was never exactly the warmest person. She's bipolar, and life with her wasn't easy. The emotional and physical abuse she threw my way was brutal, but I stuck it out because I honestly believed she couldn't help it. Turns out, that wasn't entirely true. She later admitted to her friends that sometimes she hit me just because she felt like it or wasn't getting her way. My kids saw this crap firsthand more than once, her screaming at me, hitting me, and every time, I just stood there, taking it, hating that they had to witness it. One time, near the end, she got pissed at me for not taking the trash out the second I walked through the door. She grabbed me by the neck, started choking me, and our son was right there, watching in horror. I told her, our son is never going to forget this moment. That's when she finally let go. Looking back, I know I should have left years ago, but I kept telling myself I was staying for the kids, hoping one day she'd go back to being the woman I first fell in love with. I get now that those days were long gone, probably had been for years. After everything blew up, my ex sat down with her former best friend, the wife of the guy she'd been cheating with, and straight up admitted it all. She didn't apologize. She just said, "Yeah, it's true," and then walked away like it was no big deal. Her friend is the one who told me about that conversation. My ex moved out, took the kids, and shacked up with him. And get this, they moved into an apartment literally behind the one I was still living in. Even then, I clung to this dumb hope that she'd eventually realize the grass wasn't greener over there. I mean, this guy had already cheated on his wife multiple times, not just with my ex, and she knew it. I waited that entire first year, thinking she'd come back. She even kept the keys to our place, so I convinced myself she was holding on to them because deep down she knew she'd come home. But by the end of that year, the 2 of them started messing with me all over again. He'd show up at the bus stop when I was putting the kids on the school bus, smirking and saying, "I'm here to see my daughter off to school." "Not your daughter, mine." I snapped back. "Oh, really? Then why were you fine for the last 5 years letting me raise her, letting her carry my last name, letting me be there at her birth, calling me dad? Where were you all that time? Why's my name on her birth certificate and not yours?" That almost earned me a punch to the face, and later that night, the 2 of them showed up drunk at my place because he came looking for a fight. To top it all off, my ex decided to go public with everything, blasting her new relationship all over Facebook. Our mutual friends were shocked. They reached out to me, and even to his wife, asking what the hell was going on. I made sure to save every screenshot I could. Honestly, she doesn't seem to care one bit about the mess she's made for herself heading into this divorce. Then again, why should she? I've already nailed her with a paternity test. For a while, I spiraled. I kept thinking, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? She always blamed me for not being around enough, but how could we have survived if I hadn't been working 2 jobs? Yeah, maybe I didn't clean the house when I got home, but after working 14-hour days, I was exhausted. Meanwhile, she's yelling at me about the trash when the kids were tearing the place apart under her watch, coloring on the walls, ripping down the blinds, punching holes in the drywall, but somehow the trash was the big issue. The worst part was, I wanted my family back so badly that I actually started believing it was all my fault. It took time, but eventually, I started to see the truth. Everything shifted when my brother stepped in. He was determined to get me to play in his band. Even though I kept saying no, he insisted I at least meet the other band members before deciding. And honestly, that changed everything. I still didn't join, but I struck up a friendship with them, and through the rhythm guitarist, I ended up casually dating a woman he introduced me to. I fell hard for this woman. She's 32, and it was such a huge relief to finally be in a relationship that wasn't one long, non-stop screaming match, or one that ended with me getting hit. Now, during all this time, my ex still had the keys to our old apartment. She'd occasionally let herself in to drop off stuff for the kids. The first time she came in while my new girlfriend was there? Yeah, that didn't go over well. That night, she called me up, demanding to know who the woman was and why she was in our apartment. I got a little satisfaction telling her that it was none of her business. She left me, she moved on, she's living with someone else. She had no right to question anything. But over the last few months, my ex has been spiraling, acting totally unhinged over my new relationship. She even started stalking my girlfriend, sent her a Facebook friend request, then called me up screaming that my girlfriend needed to accept it so she could see what kind of person I'm bringing around the kids. My girlfriend wasn't having any of that. She grabbed the phone from me and told my ex flat out that she didn't need to add her as a friend. Period. Anything related to the kids? That can be handled through text or phone calls. That's the boundary. My ex has no reason and no right to be part of my girlfriend's private life, her friends, or her family. She's not part of that world. But, of course, my ex didn't take that well. Pretty soon, my girlfriend started showing me a sudden wave of random friend requests she was getting, all people who happened to be friends with my ex on social media. Then, my ex began letting herself into my apartment every weekend, usually when I wasn't home, just to snoop around. One time, I was on the phone with my girlfriend, who was staying at my place while I worked, and I heard her calmly ask my ex if there was something she needed. My ex claimed she just wanted to check how much milk was in the fridge for when the kids came over. My girlfriend told her, politely but firmly, that we had it handled, and my ex left. When I got home that night, I'd had enough. I demanded the apartment key back since she didn't live there anymore. But guess what she did? She went behind my back, took my son's keys, and made copies for herself. As soon as my lease was up, my girlfriend suggested I move in with her, just so we could put some distance between us and my ex's chaos. My ex, of course, did everything she could to mess that up. She even called the police, claiming I was trying to leave with her stuff. But when the cops asked her to name a single item in my place that belonged to her, she couldn't come up with anything. Now, we have a custody arrangement where I get the kids every other weekend. My kids have told me that they're not allowed to talk about anything they do with me because their mom doesn't want to hear it. Yeah, that rule didn't last long. These days, she's grilling them for every detail. I'm sure it's jealousy. We live near the beach, and my girlfriend is pretty well off. When the kids are with us, we take them down to the boardwalk for rides, let them play on the beach, or head to the aquarium. If they come home with little prizes or souvenirs, my ex throws them away. Lately, I've noticed something even weirder. The last few times she dropped off the kids, I realized she started dressing and styling herself almost exactly like my girlfriend. She even dyed and cut her hair to match. Whatever we do with the kids, she immediately tries to copy. If we take them to the beach, she's suddenly taking them to the beach. If we go to the theater, she takes them to the theater. If she finds out what we had for dinner, she'll make the same meal the next week, and then she has the nerve to demand the kids tell her whose they liked better. Last week, my son actually asked if he could come live with us because, in his words, Mom's crazy. You better believe I'm gathering all this for court. Just when I thought things couldn't get any weirder, the other night, she started texting me bears. Yeah, literal bear emojis or bear pictures, out of nowhere. What the hell? My girlfriend was sitting right next to me when they started rolling in. I immediately got defensive, telling her, I didn't ask for this. We're not talking like that. I even offered her my phone to check for herself. She looked at the pictures, then asked me for my ex's number so she could text her own bears back, basically to show her how it's really done. She called my ex right then and asked, What the hell are you doing? I also called my ex and told her, my girlfriend's sitting right here. She saw the messages, and she's pissed. My ex tried to claim she meant to send those to someone else. My girlfriend laughed and said, Really? His name is at one end of the alphabet, and your boyfriend's is at the other. Who's this someone else you were trying to send them to? Got a new guy? My ex hung up on us. Honestly, I have no idea what game she's playing. This whole situation is just pure madness. Let me clear up a few things, because I keep seeing comments assuming I'm still living in the old apartment. No, my girlfriend didn't actually send bears back. That was just her joking about my ex's lame attempt at being flirty. The pictures were of my ex with her shirt half off, making duck faces in the mirror. My girlfriend just made a sarcastic comment about my ex's lack of creativity. I don't live in that old apartment anymore. I moved in with my girlfriend because even after I took back the keys, My ex stole my son's keys and kept breaking in. She has no access to where I live now, and even my kids don't have keys, just to be safe. Yes, I'm actively fighting for custody. It's tough, especially since I'm not my daughter's biological father, but my name is on the birth certificate, which gives me legal rights, and I'm using that to push for custody. I know my ex was prescribed medication, but at this point, I'm seriously questioning whether she's even taking it. I check the kids regularly for bruises or signs of abuse. But here's the kicker. She made the mistake of getting physical with her boyfriend, and he ended up punching a hole in the wall and told her point blank that if she ever raised a hand to him again, he'd hit back. Update 1. This past weekend was my daughter's official 5th birthday. Technically, it wasn't my weekend to have the kids, but out of the blue, my ex asked if I wanted them for the birthday. Of course I said yes. She even gave me an extra 2 days with them. At first, I figured they probably had some plans and just wanted to drop the kids on me so they could go off and do whatever. But here's what's bugging me. This was the first birthday that this guy, her biological father, could actually spend with his daughter. And instead of doing something special as her dad, they handed her off to me and my girlfriend. Am I crazy, or is that seriously messed up? Update 2. Quick follow-up. But man, I just have to shake my head at this one. Saturday night, I got this angry text from my ex, saying she hopes I'm effing happy that I won. I know I shouldn't have responded, but I couldn't help myself. I asked what her problem was. Her response made 0 sense, and then she started ranting, telling me to go ahead and gloat times 10, because something had happened to her. Then she flat out accused me of somehow being involved in whatever disaster she was dealing with. I asked her what, exactly, I was supposedly in on, but instead of giving me a straight answer, she launched into a tirade about how all men are pigs and can't be trusted. From that, I gathered 2 things. She was drunk out of her mind again. The genius she left me for? Yeah, he cheated on her. I didn't respond. When she gets like that, anything I say just sparks a fight, so I chose to stay quiet. I just read her texts, shaking my head, thinking, well, she's finally getting what she deserves. I mean, she left me for my own friend, a guy who was married and had already cheated on his wife 3 times. And she was number 3. I even warned her as she was walking out the door, but she told me, I know what I'm getting into. I guess she thought she'd somehow be the one to fix him, like she was the ultimate prize he'd never cheat on again. When she ran out of insults to throw at me, she turned her aim toward my girlfriend. She went off, telling me my girlfriend is ugly as hell, and that I could have had any woman but instead chose someone ugly to replace her. For the record, my girlfriend is stunning, both inside and out. My ex is just extremely jealous, and like I've mentioned before, she's been stalking my girlfriend and even trying to copy her looks. The attacks didn't stop there. She told me there's no way I actually love my girlfriend, that it's impossible to fall in love with the first woman you sleep with after a breakup. But here's the truth. My ex and I had been apart for a whole year before I met my girlfriend. It took time for me to even feel ready to trust someone again, and that trust wasn't just handed over, it was earned. Then she hit me with another ridiculous accusation, saying the only reason I love my girlfriend is because I lost my apartment and now I'm just sucking up to her for a place to live. Her words, not mine. It's only love when you're homeless. For context, I had my own apartment. Right across the street from my ex, she had chosen to stay in the same complex just to rub it in my face every day that she left me for my friend. When my lease was up, I made the choice to move in with my girlfriend and shift my job over there too. I knew she was trying to bait me into a fight, but I wasn't giving her the satisfaction. But then, when I thought her nonsense couldn't get more childish, she threw out, I'm sorry I wasn't enough for you. Man, I wanted so badly to call her and scream, are you kidding me? It was me who wasn't enough for you. You're the one who left. You're the one who walked out on me and immediately replaced me. She left me for a married guy who's cheated on multiple women. Real classy choice. She circled back to trashing my girlfriend, saying we both know that she, my ex, is the one I really wanted, that my girlfriend couldn't even hold a candle to her. That's when I finally had enough. I told her, contact me when you're sober, turned off my phone, and walked away from it. A few hours later, when my girlfriend came home, she noticed something was off and asked what was wrong. I warned her that she might get mad, handed her my phone, and told her to read the messages herself. She scrolled through them, laughed her butt off, handed me back the phone, and said, looks like he cheated. I agreed, thinking the same, and tried to reassure her. Honestly, I worried the ugly comments might shake her confidence. But they didn't even faze her. She just told me, your ex's narcissism really comes out when she's drunk. I bet she's mad she can't come running to you for a revenge hookup to get back at him. I haven't heard anything else from my ex since that night. My guess? As usual, she probably woke up the next morning, looked at the texts, realized what a mess she'd made, and felt stupid. I also wouldn't be surprised if she's back with him already. She can't stand being alone. Edit. 15 years of her abuse left some lasting scars that I'm still working through. No matter what I did, I was always wrong. Even when I was right, I was wrong for disagreeing with her and trying to make her feel stupid. I see now that was just part of her narcissistic guilt tripping. A lot of the habits I picked up are subconscious, and I don't even realize I'm doing them. For example, if my phone goes off, I instinctively tell my girlfriend who it is and show her the screen. That's something I used to do just to avoid fights and accusations in the past. These days, I don't have to do that, but it's a tough habit to break. Whenever I do it, my girlfriend usually doesn't even bother looking and just says, "You're doing it again." And here's the messed up part. If she doesn't look, I catch myself feeling uneasy, like she didn't verify, and that might open me up to some imaginary fight later. Even though I know that won't happen, it's a hard cycle to break. There's just so much internal junk I'm still trying to unravel. I'll get there eventually, but that's honestly the hardest part, isn't it? Recovering from all of it, not just the cheating, but the years of mental conditioning and control. You think you've got it together, and then you step into a new relationship and find yourself repeating old patterns, trying not to make waves instead of just being yourself. It really is a long road to recovery. Update 3. Since my last update, here's where things stand. Yes, the guy my ex left me for cheated on her. No surprise there. And just like I predicted, 3 days later, they were back together. I figured as much. She doesn't really have anyone else to fall back on, so now she's stuck with him. For the most part, since that last blow-up, I haven't heard much from her, outside of signing some divorce papers and the occasional communication about the kids. And honestly, I'm grateful for the peace and quiet. But I know it's only a matter of time before she gets drunk again and hits me with another round of angry, drunken rants about how I'm the ultimate piece of crap. This past Halloween, my band got asked to perform at an annual event that one of my friends hosts every year. I've been doing it for years. It's basically tradition at this point. Last year, my ex didn't show up, probably because that was the year I found out she'd been sleeping with my best friend and that my daughter, who's now 5, is actually his biological kid. She definitely wasn't invited. But this year? Oh, she showed up. She rolled in, dragging along her boyfriend, the one she left me for, the same one who cheated on her, and brought the kids too. I was livid. This event is strictly for adults, no kids allowed. She knew this. I firmly believe she showed up just to stir up trouble and try to get me thrown out. Security kept stopping her at the entrance, telling her she couldn't come in, and she just stood there arguing, insisting, but the kids want to see their dad play. So there I was, with security pulling me aside, telling me I needed to get my ex and the kids out of there, while she's yelling at me that I'm putting a party over my children. My buddy, the one hosting the event, came down to try and smooth things over. He told her she could stay and watch me play 2 songs, but after that, she'd have to leave, and if she refused, they were calling the police. I told my friend, "Man, don't cater to her." But he said, "I'm not doing this for her. I'm doing it for your kids." It was an absolute disaster of a night. I was up on stage, not fully aware of the chaos happening off to the side. It wasn't until I stepped away between sets that I got filled in. Apparently, at one point, my ex tried to pick a fight with my girlfriend, and yeah, that didn't end well for her. My girlfriend put her firmly in her place, calling her out in front of everyone for using our kids as pawns in her little games. I had several people come up to me, pointing out where they were standing, letting me know what had gone down. By the time I made it over, the argument was already over, but my ex was glaring at my girlfriend from across the room like she wanted to set her on fire with her eyes. And then, right there in front of everyone, my daughter humiliated my ex by loudly announcing, "I have 2 daddies. My daddy and mommy's boyfriend, he's my real daddy." That stung my ex hard. She fired back with a bitter, "Thanks for making me sound like trash," and stormed out. But here's the kicker, my son refused to go with her. He fought to stay with me. My ex actually had her boyfriend track down my girlfriend and ask if we could keep our son that night. She agreed, and they worked it out with my buddy to keep my son close by for the rest of the party. We took him home the next evening. Honestly, my nerves were shot to hell that whole night. I must have apologized to my friend, my girlfriend, and my son 1,000 times for dragging them into this mess. I was a wreck on stage. I messed up every song because I kept scanning the crowd, trying to keep tabs on where everyone was, terrified that an actual physical fight would break out. I didn't even know until after the show that my ex had left and abandoned my son there. When I brought my son home the next night, my ex made sure she wasn't there. Her boyfriend was the one who answered the door. He told me she knew I was coming and wanted to avoid any confrontation about what had happened. He even apologized to me and tried to start a conversation about how she'd been acting. I cut him off and said, "Look, I'm not getting into this with you," and left. Later that night, I got a phone call from my son. He told me they were fighting badly, and I could hear them screaming at each other in the background. He said the argument was about me. Apparently, her boyfriend had reached his breaking point and accused her of not being over me. He reportedly asked her straight up, "What's bothering you more, that he moved on and you can't crawl back to him? Or that if you hadn't left him for me, he might have left you for his new girlfriend anyway?" That's what set off the whole blow-up. I asked my son if he needed me to come pick him up, but he said no. I stayed on the phone with him until things calmed down. So yeah, that's where things stand right now. Still knee-deep in the divorce process, still pushing forward, and honestly, I'm done looking back at what I lost. My focus now is on getting my kids out of that environment. And yeah, I'm still fighting for that. Update 4. So, the other day, my 5-year-old daughter was going on and on about the elf at her soon-to-be stepdad's house, aka my ex's place. My girlfriend thought it would be fun to get one for our house too, so she set it up, thinking my daughter would be excited, like, "Hey, the elf sent a buddy to watch you while you're here." But wow, my daughter's reaction was alarming, to say the least. The second she saw the elf, she completely lost it. She started screaming at it, saying it needed to leave, or she was going to tell Santa that it was bad and that it tells lies. She threw an epic tantrum, demanding that the elf be removed or else she'd report it. My girlfriend tried to calm her down, telling her, "Look, the elf doesn't lie. If you're good, he tells Santa you're good. If you're bad, he tells Santa you're bad. So just be good." But my daughter just bared her teeth, gave my girlfriend this chilling, angry glare, and growled, "He's going to tell on me." What the hell? My brain was racing. Why is she terrified of this elf, but not the one at her mom's house? How many lies is she yelling over there that my ex just ignores? And what else is my ex turning a blind eye to? We've already had some issues with my daughter lying. She'll claim her brother hit her, even when he's nowhere near her. We've been trying to work on that, but when I brought it up to my soon-to-be ex, her response was just, "Yeah, I know, I'm handling it." Today, when I drop the kids off, I'm planning to confront her about this elf meltdown because something is not right over there. I want to get my daughter into therapy. It's becoming crystal clear that there's a lot more going on behind the scenes that I'm not seeing. Something's wrong. That's for damn sure. Edit. I already know that at her mom's house, my daughter is treated like a little princess. She can do no wrong, especially since her biological dad is right there. Meanwhile, my son, who's biologically mine, gets treated like garbage by the guy. Today, my girlfriend and I sat down with the kids to talk about all this behavior. We asked my son if my daughter pulls the same lying tricks at home. He said, "Not really, not as much," which left us wondering why she does it so much here. We asked my daughter why she lies about her brother hitting her, and she immediately got defensive, saying, "He does hit me. He just did." We asked, "When did that happen?" And she said, "Just a minute ago." Thing is, he wasn't even in the house. He was outside taking out the trash. He hadn't been near her all day. In fact, he avoids her now because of all the false accusations. When we pointed out that she was lying, she got furious and raised her fist at my girlfriend, threatening her. That was it. I took away her TV and video games and asked her, "Why are you misbehaving like this? Why not just be good?" She looked me dead in the eye, growled, and said, "Because I don't want to." Looks like it's time for me to seriously step up the discipline, because I am not putting up with this crap. Update 5. So, turns out my daughter's meltdown over the elf on the shelf ended up opening a whole can of worms I didn't even realize was sitting under the surface. Quick recap. Over the weekend, my girlfriend and I got an elf on the shelf for our house since my daughter had been raving nonstop about how much she loved the one at my soon-to-be ex-wife's place. But when she saw the elf at our place, she went ballistic, screaming that it had to leave because it was going to tell Santa on her. That raised a big red flag. Why was the elf at her mom's house perfectly fine, but ours was suddenly a threat? So, I started digging for answers, and, man, I fell down a deep rabbit hole. We went out to dinner with my girlfriend's ex-stepmother. Long story short, when my girlfriend's dad cheated, she sided with the stepmom and kept a relationship with her, which honestly does wonders for my trust in my girlfriend, given my own issues with betrayal. Anyway, during dinner, the stepmother briefly mentioned some abuse my girlfriend suffered from her stepdad on her mom's side. That's when I noticed something. My son visibly flinched at the mention but didn't say anything. But later, on the car ride home, the floodgates opened. He told me everything that had been going on at his mom's house. And let me tell you, I did not see this one coming. Turns out, The ex-wife of my soon-to-be ex's boyfriend has been going scorched earth on them, making their lives hell. She's been hitting back hard, even using her kids to go after my son, because, in her eyes, he's the son of the woman who stole her husband. And her kids? They've now taught my daughter, who, biologically, is really the boyfriend's, to target her own brother, too. When I asked my daughter about it, she straight up said, "It's a game." I told her, "No, it's not a game. It's mean, and it's hurting your brother." And cue the meltdown. She burst into tears, accusing me of not letting her have any fun. I laid it out clearly. This stops now. If you keep mistreating your brother, you're losing everything. No TV, no toys, no video games. She rolled her eyes and shot back. But I don't want to. It's fun. What the actual hell? I made it crystal clear. If she keeps this up, she's getting punished. And yeah, she melted down again, but I stood my ground. When I dropped the kids off, I confronted my ex and asked her what the hell was going on. She admitted that the other woman, the other betrayed spouse, has been doing everything in her power to make their lives miserable, even sabotaging their side gigs and messing them up financially. She told me Christmas is probably going to be ugly because of it. I brought up the fact that her boyfriend's kids are coaching our daughter to attack her brother. My ex basically shrugged and said, "There's only so much I can do. I can't watch them all the time." Seriously? I told her, if you're aware of it, do something, because when the crap happening at your house starts spilling into mine, that's a big problem. Let's be real. She's not doing anything. None of those kids are facing consequences. And my daughter? She's learning that at mom's house, she can act however she wants without punishment. But at my house, she knows she'll get in trouble, which explains why she was terrified of our elf and not the one over there. So yeah, now I have a new problem. The other betrayed spouse is making life hell for all of us. And you'd better believe I'm bringing this up in court. Edit. I'm still fighting for custody of both kids. Not that I wasn't before, but now I have even more to work with. This elf situation just confirmed what I'd suspected all along. My ex isn't doing a damn thing to manage the behavior in that house. My daughter's reaction, my son's confession, and even my ex's own words. There's only so much I can do. Tell me everything I need to know. Since she refuses to handle it, it's on me now. And I will be using this in court. Update 6. Today, it officially ended. We sat on the Zoom court call, and just like that, the marriage was over. I went through the whole thing in a bit of a haze because I've imagined this day a million times over the past year, and here it was, finally happening. It took 5 minutes. That's all. Just 5. Neither of us contested anything. She wasn't asking for anything. Not that she really could, since the paternity tests had cleared up the situation. They asked me a couple quick questions. Was there any chance of saving the marriage? No. Did I want to proceed with the divorce today? Yes. I found it oddly amusing that they asked her if there were any domestic issues or abuse, and she said no, but they never once asked me. Which is wild, considering I was the one who got hit more than a few times. But I guess, in the end, none of that mattered because the result was going to be the same. It was over. Now, all that's left is family court for custody. And with everything going on right now, things are definitely tilting more in my favor. Oh, and she waited exactly 5 minutes after the court call ended to blast it all over Facebook. I know because my phone immediately blew up with screenshots from friends. She posted some heartfelt nonsense about how divorce is hard, but we need to set a good example for the kids. Yeah, and she even tagged me. Big mistake. So, after the divorce was finalized, my friends started jumping on my ex about how, if she really wanted to set a good example for the kids, maybe she shouldn't immediately run to social media fishing for attention and likes. I mean, sure, I guess I can't talk. I'm here telling all of you strangers about it. But hey, at least I waited several hours, and none of you actually know me in real life. But yeah, it's done now. It's over. And honestly, I'm not even sure how I feel. Just blank. Update 7. It's been a while since I posted anything, and I appreciate everyone who's reached out to check on me. I've just been in a mood, with everything going on, and haven't really felt up to giving updates. So, the divorce was finalized last month, one huge obstacle down. Christmas, for the most part, went okay, except for one thing. My ex lost her job, and the affair partner she moved in with isn't making enough to cover everything. 3 days before Christmas, she came to me asking for help with the kids. I really wanted to tell her to kick rocks, especially with the timing, when the stores were already picked clean and me and my girlfriend had to scramble to pull together decent gifts. Before anyone tells me I shouldn't have helped, that I should have let the kids see her fall apart and realize what she really is, trust me, I wanted to. I almost did. But I couldn't do that to my kids, especially not at Christmas. So I told her this was a one-time thing. I wouldn't help her again. When she came to pick up the presents, she tried pulling another stunt, asking to come inside to see where the kids sleep. When I said that wasn't a good idea, she shot back, "It's not a request. It's my right." She tried stepping around me, but my girlfriend was right there, face to face with her, telling her flat out, "You're not stepping foot in this house. If you have concerns, call someone, but you're never setting foot in my home." My ex backed down. And then I spent the rest of the night calming down my girlfriend, who was ready to rip my ex's face off. Honestly, the best way I can explain it is, my girlfriend has my ex completely locked out. My ex tries, she fails miserably, and then she runs around whining to anyone who will listen that it's unfair she's cut out when the kids are with me. But the truth is, our life doesn't involve her. It's none of her business. And my girlfriend has made that perfectly clear. Maybe I'm an idiot for this, but I've let my girlfriend take the reins in this situation. She's immune to my ex's games, and she's way better at calling out the nonsense than I am. Where my ex used to be able to challenge and manipulate me, my girlfriend is like an unmovable rock. Since then, my ex hasn't tried playing any more games. I got my kids into therapy, which was long overdue. Things with them have definitely escalated. We set up a camera in the living room, and it's been catching a lot of my daughter's lies, like her punching her brother and then screaming that he hit her when he didn't. We've been confronting her on it, and she's starting to realize that her old tricks don't work here. My son's been getting frustrated, though. He's really upset about how long court is taking and that he can't live with me full-time yet. He's super bonded to my girlfriend, which has been a huge relief. They don't clash at all. But at his mom's place, he's acting out, screaming, punching walls, arguing. I know he just wants out of that house, and I'm doing everything I can to make that happen. I know it will happen eventually. As if that wasn't enough, now I've got a new problem. My girlfriend's ex-boyfriend has started stalking her. Hilariously, this was brought to my attention by another ex-boyfriend of hers, who, funny enough, is one of my bandmates and was the one who introduced us in the first place. Apparently, the other night, the stalker ex lost it when my bandmate told him, "She's happy, she's moved on, you need to let go and find someone new." His brilliant response? He crashed his car into a guardrail trying to destroy himself. I swear, there's so much chaos in my life right now, I don't know whether to laugh, cry, or start selling tickets. Update 8. So, D-Day was over 1 year ago. Divorce finalized 4 months ago. She's still with the affair partner. I've moved on, been with my girlfriend for a year now. For the most part, my life is so much better without her. But even now, 2 years later, I'm still uncovering things. Just recently, I found out that before the affair partner, my ex had actually slept with another friend of mine. Yeah, that one stung a little. Not because I still care about her, but because it just makes the timeline of betrayal even longer. I missed the signs twice. And now, even though I know my daughter isn't biologically mine, I find myself wondering if my son is. He doesn't look like me. Not really. None of his features are mine. Not all of them are hers, either. And here's the thing. As much as I wonder, I also wonder if I really want to know. I don't know if I could handle that kind of blow a second time. Ignorance might actually be bliss here. I'm trying to leave as much of her behind me as possible. But it's hard when you have kids, because you're stuck co-parenting until they're 18. I tried avoiding the whole gray rock strategy, thinking we could maybe stay amicable for the kids' sake. But here's the funny thing. The guilty ones are always the ones on the attack, always trying to shift the blame, even after everything's over. And even more interesting, she somehow thought she could still control me, still call all the shots. When I stopped giving in, she lashed out. She even tried her tactics on my girlfriend, and let me tell you, that didn't last long. My girlfriend's dealt with sociopathic narcissists before. She's not new to this game. In the end, I know I came out on top. I've got a new life, a new job, a new home, a new love. I'm doing way better than my ex, who's now living with the consequences of her choices. Not only did she blow up our life, but she ruined the affair partner's life, too, and his ex-wife is going above and beyond to make their lives a living hell. She's the ultimate example of hell hath no fury. She's hit them hard financially, and my ex has already come crying to me multiple times, playing poor mouth. She lost her job 3 months ago and hasn't found another, choosing instead to live off the affair partner, who's getting squeezed dry by his ex. Do I feel bad about it? Nope. The only part that hurts is seeing how it's affecting my kids. Their lives are getting turned upside down by that whole mess. I do what I can for them, but only for them. I won't hand over money, but I'll take care of whatever they need. I'm not giving my ex a single chance to waste my money on booze, because, honestly, that's who she is, and part of the reason she got fired in the first place. And yes, I'm actively fighting for custody of both kids, even the one who's not biologically mine. I need to get them away from her. My son has built up this deep resentment toward his mother, and that's completely on her. She's the one who told him the truth about why we were divorcing. He knows his sister is the affair partner's child, and he makes sure everyone around him knows it too. Heck, he told my girlfriend before I even had the chance. I was trying so hard not to dump all my baggage on my girlfriend when we first got together. As a newly divorcing dad, I already had plenty of heavy stuff on my plate, and I didn't want to overwhelm her. But my son is angry. The silver lining? His bond with my girlfriend is rock solid. She's his best friend. My daughter, though, she's basically turning into her mom. She lies, she's manipulative, she pulls the same tactics, and she reacts the exact same way when things don't go her way. She's learning from the best, and that's not a compliment. The cameras we set up in the house have been extremely useful when it comes to catching her in her lies. She loves accusing people, especially her brother, of being mean to her. She'll hit him, then immediately start screaming that he hit her. But thanks to the cameras, we have clear proof. We confronted her with the footage showing her running up, hitting him, and then freaking out, and she absolutely lost it when she got caught. Since then, she stopped accusing him of hitting her. Of course, now we're catching her sneaking into things she's not supposed to touch. We're trying to play one adult against the other, saying, "So-and-so said I could have this," when they definitely didn't. And here's another thing, the cameras aren't just for home security. Sure, that's the official reason they're up, but they're also a safeguard for me. If my daughter falls and gets a bruise, my ex is quick to start yelling child abuse. She's even tried accusing my girlfriend of hurting the kids. The reality? My daughter decided the floor was lava, launched herself off the couch trying to reach a chair, and ended up with a bump. So there I was, sending my ex the video, showing exactly what happened and how we handled the injury as soon as it happened. That back and forth only lasted a few weeks before my ex finally got the message. No one is hurting the kids, and we've got video proof for every bump, scrape, or fall. Yeah, I know, it sucks that I had to take things to this level and set up cameras. But honestly, it gives me peace of mind knowing my ex can't pull any of those games on me anymore. And I'll admit, it also gives me huge peace of mind when I'm at work and my girlfriend's home alone. I can check in and see her reading, watching a movie, or playing video games online with my son or her little brother, who's the same age as my son. Having the cameras helps me manage my trust issues, and at this point in my life, that's something I really need.